Hey everyone, this is Mike and welcome back to another Lost Ark video. Today I'll be talking about the different damage types that you can find on your skills. Stagger, weak point and counter. Counterattacks aren't really damage types I guess, but they are something that can help you out a lot in boss fights, so I wanted to include them in this video. And I guess we can just start there. Counterattacks. Most bosses in Lost Ark usually have one attack that can be countered. The indicator for this is that the boss will glow blue. That is a tell to let you know that they are in a counterable state. If you then position yourself in front of the boss and you use your counter skill, then you are able to stun the boss for a few seconds, stopping the attack that they were doing and creating a short DPS window for your team where they don't have to worry about mechanics. Each class has access to at least one counter skill and you can check which one it is by reading your skill descriptions. Usually it's indicated like this, but for some skills it's a bit harder to see as it for some reason won't show up like that and you need to actually read your skill description. So once you know what your counter skill is, all you need to do is wait for the boss to glow blue, position yourself in front of its face and use your counter skill. It's a little bit situational as you won't always have your skill ready and you also won't always be in position in front of the boss either, but if both were to happen, then you can try to counter the boss for some free DPS. After a successful counter, the boss will also become immune to being countered for a little while. So even if they do the attack that you can normally counter, you won't be able to do it. So just wait until the boss shows that blue glow again and then you know that you can counter it again the next time he does it. Moving on to Stagger. Each skill has their own strength of Stagger, so make sure to check which of your skills have Stagger attached to them and then also how much they do. That way you know which skills to prioritize when Stagger damage is needed. Stagger is useful in two ways. Most bosses have a stagger bar underneath their health bar, and when this bar gets depleted, the boss will be stunned for a brief moment. And just like with counter, after being staggered, it will take a little while before the stagger bar can start to be depleted again. So that's kind of the passive aspect to it. But there are also mechanics in the game that we refer to as stagger checks. These are mechanics that require you to hit the boss with a specific amount of stagger damage or bad things will happen. On a normal boss fight, it will be indicated with the following tell, which is a shield with a stagger bar underneath it, and then you need to break the shield in time to not fail the mechanic. Guardian raids can also have stagger checks, but this won't be indicated with this shield and stagger bar. Instead, a guardian will brace and start powering up. That's the tell to look out for when fighting a guardian. In abyssal dungeons, a failed stagger check will usually result in a party wipe, but on guardian raids, instead of wiping the party, it will deal high AoE damage, after which the boss becomes empowered, making their attacks a whole lot harder to deal with. So you basically always want to try and stagger the boss whenever a stagger check happens. Same thing goes for weak point or destruction. Some bosses will start with some sort of a shield that you have to break by using weak point skills. The higher the level of weak point, the faster you break the shield. And after breaking that body part of the boss, they will be unable to use certain attacks. And again, just like with Stagger, there are also weak point checks. Body parts of the boss that can only be broken at a specific time. And then after you break it, they also can't use certain attacks. For example, in the background we are fighting the Scorpion, and when he gets staggered, he drops his tail to the ground. Once he does that, we all focus the tail so that we can try and break it, and then when we do, he is unable to use his lightning aspected attacks, thus making the fight a whole lot easier. Now, because both weak point and stagger is attached to your skills, and you can't always predict when a stagger or weak point check might happen, it's always useful to bring whirlwind and destruction bombs with you. Whirlwind bombs deal high amounts of stagger damage and destruction bombs deal high amounts of weak point damage. So if you run into a situation where you need that type of damage, but your skills that provide that damage are on cooldown, then you just throw a bomb and that will take care of your contribution for this stagger or weak point check. And that covers everything I wanted to talk about in today's video, so I want to thank you for watching, I want to thank my patrons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.